Hey everyone, my name is Berna, and today I would like to talk about if you're manifesting a person and feeling stuck, something that I have found is really helpful, just as a perspective shift, right? To get out of that kind of trying, efforting mode, right? So obviously, it's great to have a manifesting routine and doing lots of affirmations, like especially if that's working for you and you're getting good results. Feel free to keep it up. But just I find that for some clients, they really kind of get stuck in this mode of seeing their person a specific way, right? Like they're really stubborn, or they're being annoying, or they're being a jerk, or this is just how they are and I don't know how to change it, right? And so anytime we're trying to change it, even through affirmations, anything like that, we're still focusing on the reality where that is what's true, right? So if we just think about it a little bit differently, we know that we're always shifting different realities constantly, right? So if instead of focusing on sort of every little issue that we have in this reality and how we want to change it, right? See if you can just imagine shifting your whole self into this new reality where everything is already the way you want it to be, right? You don't even need to manifest anything. Like everything is already wonderful. It's exactly what you prefer, and it always has been, right? So I think this is an interesting way of combining revision, right? The sort of like everything has always already been amazing here, and just kind of seeing reality a little bit differently, because again, our day-to-day experience of it is like it feels so solid, it feels unchangeable, it feels random, it feels, like it has a lot of power over us. And when we're focusing so much on, oh, I'm stuck in this reality and I have to change it, it's just not helpful, right? If we want to experience our desires really quickly, I find it's helpful to just actually, like for me, letting go or detaching is actually, and everyone talks about this, right? Detaching from the old story. But this is just a different way to think about it, right? It's like there are infinite realities in the multiverse. And this reality that you've been experiencing is just one. And so you don't actually have to change anything. You can imagine just shifting out of it and then it's deactivated, right? And then now you're in this new one and you can imagine it suddenly activating as you focus on it. Like it just like suddenly came to life and it's always been here just waiting for you, right? So I don't know if you've seen that new show Dark Matter on Apple TV. I love it. I'm really into it. But I think it's all about manifesting, so I would highly recommend it. But you can even use some of those visuals when you're imagining this shift, right? You can imagine having the intention, opening the door, and you're just there. Now you're in your new reality. And the old one is just, it's kind of like frozen in time. It's deactivated. You don't ever have to think about it again, right? And then to kind of keep this going for yourself, see if you can like just use everything as evidence that this shift has happened, right? So tell yourself like, I'm in my perfect reality now. I'm in my chosen reality now. Or however you want to phrase it, right? Whatever feels natural to you. And you can just also tell yourself like, I'm always seeing evidence that I'm in my preferred reality. Like, I love that I'm in this amazing reality. And you can even like look around your reality. Maybe you notice something that's even just like a tiny bit different and you're like, oh, I've never noticed that before. See if even those kind of moments you can just tell yourself like, see, that's because I'm in my preferred reality, and and also in this reality, right, you can imagine that you already have a perfect belief system, right? There aren't any beliefs to change here because You've always had a beautiful, perfect life, right? In this reality, your preferred reality, like, of course, you've always been safe and loved, and, you know, you had a wonderful childhood. You had everything you wanted, everything you needed, you know, all of the abundance in the world, you know, just the best of everything. And you're still completely you. In fact, you feel even more yourself than ever, right? Because I find there's this like really weird, I don't know what it is, myth or limiting belief, that I think it's from religion, but just this idea that, you know, suffering means, like, suffering is valuable somehow. Like, the more suffering you go through, the more wise and compassionate you'll be later. But that's not, you know, once we learn, I think once we get away from that kind of thinking and we learn more about neuroscience and manifesting, that just doesn't make sense at all, right? Like, suffering is not valuable. Like, it's really not helpful. And so, you know, see if you can, you know, I think that's also part of what the, like, kind of letting go or detaching. You're not detaching from your desires, you're detaching from that old way of being where, like, suffering and pain were normal and considered valuable in some way, right? So you can even just tell yourself that, like, I have no need for suffering. Like, I don't need it. I've never needed suffering. I don't need pain, and I never have, you know. Because, again, what we're doing when we're doing this internal work with, you know, manifesting, changing our inner being so that we can experience a new outer reality, we're really trying to, you know, get to the point where we just, you know, it's normal for us, right? It's normal to have what we want. So I don't know if you've ever done this, right? Where maybe you're imagining like living with your person or getting married, and it's like, oh, this feels so nice. And then maybe you feel just like a little bit of tightness in your chest or in your stomach. You just feel a little bit of like fear, or like, this doesn't feel normal, you know? So it's like you're trying to imagine something really nice, but then the experience is like, oh, I don't know if I would actually like this, right? It can be very strange when that happens. But I would just encourage you to just keep going with it. Like, that feeling will shift as you kind of, you know, have some repetition of this new, just more and more experiences of this, right? The more in your imagination you experience your person as like so kind, so sweet, so loving, right? They just make you feel so good constantly. Everything they do makes you feel good. Everything they say makes you feel good, right? So, yeah, that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get your brain to be familiar with, like, oh yes, right, this is normal, right? Having someone just doting on me constantly, totally devoted to me, that's normal and it's safe, right? Our brain really craves homeostasis, and it really wants what is familiar and similar to what we've experienced in the past, right? So if we're focusing on a reality where we've had a very difficult life, a very difficult past, our brain is going to constantly be trying to keep us, you know, trying to keep us in that state where we are, you know, kind of stressed, hypervigilant, worried something bad is going to happen, right? Even though we don't actually want that, our brain is like, yes, I know you don't want that, but like, this is keeping you safe. So again, you know, it's just a perspective shift, right? And you can just see what you think about it. But I've found that it can be incredibly calming, you know, because sometimes when we're manifesting a person, we can really be focusing on time, and it can just feel really sad and hard, and like, what's happening? Is this having any impact? And by shifting into this new reality where everything is already amazing, you get to just experience more and more of that every day without sort of like micromanaging everything in your reality, if that makes sense. So anyway, I know this helped you, and if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the comments. And if you'd like to book a coaching session with me, the link is in the description box below. And I'll see you next time. Okay, bye now.